help me welcome a real-life spark plug, Anthony Sparkplug Thomas. All right? If there's anything this world needs outside of love, it's inspiration. I'm happy to say that our speaker today is fully equipped to give us exactly what we need. When AC Delco needed a human spark plug to inspire their national sales force, they called on him. His life-changing story of courage and determination is enough to give us all hope. You see, he was abandoned by his father at 2 years old. His family struggled so that by the time he was 6 years old, he only had one pair of socks. When he was 8 years old, his mother only had a meager $400 a month monthly salary, which was not nearly enough to care for her 3 growing kids in South Carolina. Yet through it all, he knew some way, somehow, life could and would be better. So he kept dreaming. He kept believing. He kept pressing. He kept going. His efforts paid off with rewards for his perseverance, yielding him prominent statuses of Atlanta's king of marketing. U.S. Navy veteran, world traveler, certified etiquette consultant, passionate advocate for a litter-free Georgia, a distinguished graduate of Mercer University, and even an Atlanta Man of Influence honoree. His ability to energize and inspire crowds with his boundless enthusiasm has been recognized by organizations large and small, and by people from all walks of life. He's the award-winning publisher of Atlanta's People You Need to Know Business Guide, which is a highly acclaimed for offering the world's best marketing for small businesses. A very grateful man, our speaker has mailed out more than 10,000 thank you cards. He has been married to his lovely wife, Jacqueline, for 28 years. Today, he's here to speak with us on the subject of what legacy means to me. Put your hands together and give a warm and energetic African American Credit Union Coalition welcome to Atlanta's own Anthony Sparkplug Thomas.
Come on, you can do better. Come on. Come on. Give it up. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on. What's going on with these seats here? I took a Tic-Tac before I came in. Most people know me as a very energetic kind of guy. My friends call me the spark plug. And anytime I'm making a presentation anywhere in the world, it could be up in Tyson's Corner, Virginia, or Phoenix, Arizona, my goal is the same. And that is to get the audience motivated and energized as soon as possible. And I need your help. Now, Renee already told me this was a motivated group, so are you energized today? Yes. Hold on a second. Are you energized today? Yes. People ask me all the time. Even a guy just asked me a few moments ago. I told him, you'll find out in just a minute. He said, how did you get the name Sparkplug? Well, ladies and gentlemen, how I got the name Sparkplug is because I used to manage a sporting goods store, but I was also one of the top salesmen in the nation for this company. And the owner of the company, by the name of John Smith, who's still a good friend of mine today, he used to say, man, with your energy and enthusiasm, you are the Sparkplug. And the name just stuck. It wasn't until years later, when I got into the motivational speaking business, that I found out that another definition for Sparkplug was a person who inspires or energizes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I can inspire or energize anyone in the room today, then my presentation this morning will not be in vain. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know before I go any further that this is not just another speech for me today. This is my life. So before I get started, raise your hand if you thought I would be taller. Anybody? There's probably somebody in the back over there saying, is he standing up yet? Yes, I am. What that introduction did not say about my mother was that she was in the insurance business. And she went on to become one of the first African-American women in Cobb County, Georgia, to open up her very own independent insurance agency. Thank you. And she also earned 2 master's degrees along the way. All right. So first and foremost, I must say thank you to my late mother, because I stand here today in her spirit. She was the first strong black woman I ever met. So to all the strong black women in the room today, like you and you and you, I say thank you, because I wouldn't be standing here today without women like you in my life. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on, give it up. Give it up. I've been pro-woman since I was about 12 or 13 years old, before it was trendy. Now, speaking of strong black women, let me give a special thanks to your esteemed president and CEO, Miss Renee Sadie White, for inviting me here to speak today. Give her a round of applause. And give her team a round of applause. Hadn't they done a great job today? I would also like to, hold on a second, where's Renee anyway? Is she here? Where's Renee? Okay. Well, I would also like to congratulate Renee for being recognized recently by Industry Era magazine as one of the top 10 admired leaders for 2023. Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. There she is right there. Okay, all right. Well, I thought that was her. I guess not. Okay. I do wear glasses, forgive me. Now, if you are a member of the African American Credit Union Coalition, please stand up if you can. Please stand up if you can, because I want everyone to see who you are. And I want to congratulate each and every one of you for creating a new paradigm in the credit union industry, a new paradigm of hope, a new paradigm of caring and understanding and opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the people who are helping the African American community, one family at a time, move away from generational poverty to generational wealth. And that's something we can all celebrate, right? Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, all right. Now y'all can sit down. Y'all can sit down now. All right, thank you. Now you can understand why I'm so excited about being here today. And when Renee told me what the occasion was, there she is. Let's give her another round of applause. And when Renee told me what the occasion was, your 25th annual conference, I said, oh, I got to break out the tuxedo. I got to break out the tuxedo because this is a special occasion. I was at a speaking engagement one time, and a gentleman came up to me. I had my tuxedo on. And he said, Sparkplug, you're not supposed to wear a tuxedo before 5 p.m. I said, oh, okay, all right. I said, you remember when Michael Jordan used to play in the NBA? He said, yeah. I said, remember when they had the NBA rules, and then they had the Jordan rules? He said, yeah. I said, well, I have Sparkplug rules. And one of my Sparkplug rules says that nobody is going to be upset or offended by seeing a brother in a tuxedo before 5 p.m. Am I right? Is there anybody upset with my attire? Is there anybody offended with my attire? Well, let's just move on. Renee asked me to speak about legacy today and what legacy means to me. And as I was preparing for this presentation, I was reminded of something that Lori Butterworth said about legacy that I will never forget. She said, legacy. She said, we should live the legacy that we want to leave. That's powerful. Let me say that again for the people who might be writing it down, might be the slow writers like me, right? She said that we should live the legacy that we want to leave. In other words, if you want to leave a legacy of kindness, you have to live a legacy of kindness. I think the word legacy is oftentimes misunderstood because we have to keep in mind that our legacy is not just how our life is remembered. Legacy is about how our life is lived. You see, once I understood that every day we're leaving a legacy because every day we're creating memories, it gave my life a whole new meaning. But understand this, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's not going to get it. Everybody's not sitting around a table talking about legacy. I went to a drive-thru one time, and the lady was quite rude to me. And I was like, daggone, by the time I got up to the window, I said, ma'am, whatever happened to service with a smile? She looked at me and snapped back. We did that 2 weeks ago at the grand opening. So Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've met and known people throughout my life who were living the legacy they wanted to leave. And since legacy is about memories, it's all about memories, today I'd like to share with you some legacy moments from my life. We're going to start right here in Atlanta, Renee. Then I want to take you back to South Carolina when I was a little kid growing up. And then I'm going to share a few special memories about my time in the U.S. Navy. I had hair back then. Somebody said, that was a long time ago. Okay, all right. So let's start with right here in Atlanta. A friend of mine, Dr. Leela Denmark, the late legendary pediatrician here in Atlanta. She died when she was 114 years old. This lady was born on February 1st, 1898. She was born the same year the Spanish-American War began. She was born the same year Pepsi-Cola got its start in 1898. In 1898, ladies and gentlemen, the average life expectancy was only 49 years. She lived 65 years past her life expectancy. She lived in 3 centuries. As a matter of fact, Renee, you're like this. She was born 11 years before the first credit union in America was opened in 1909. Okay? When she died at 114 years old, she was the third oldest, she had been the third oldest person in America and the 4th oldest in the world. She was living the legacy she wanted to leave for over 74 years as a pediatrician in Atlanta. And she believed that every child should have a chance. And she wrote that in one of her book titles was called that. Every child should have a chance. And when my wife and I were at her home up in Alpharetta, Georgia for the first time, she signed that book for me. And she just scribbled with, her little handwriting. And she said, to Sparkplug, do what you can to help. Isn't that beautiful, Renee? Now, when I used to call Dr. Denmark, she would always answer the phone, Dr. Denmark. I said, Sparkplug, Dr. Denmark. And our hearing was getting worse and worse. She said, who is this? I said, it's Sparkplug. She would always come back and say, is this the man who tries to help people? I said, yes, ma'am, it is. She was like, Sparkplug, how you doing? How's your wife? I said, she's doing fine, Dr. Denmark. And I got off the phone with her one time, and I told my wife, I said, isn't that beautiful? That little old lady knows me as the man who tries to help people. I said, you can put that on my tombstone. Here lies Sparkplug, the man who tried to help people. And then I said, no, that's not what I want. I said, you can put this on my tombstone. See if you like this, Renee. I said, here lies Sparkplug. He may not have set the world on fire, but he sure as hell left a spark. Okay? You like that? And that's all I'm trying to do today, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hold on a second. Now, they want me to use this here. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I got. Okay, you got that part. Okay. And that's all I'm trying to do today is leave that spark. Dr. Leela Denmark taught me the importance of living the legacy that you want to leave. And that's what we're trying to do with our publication. We're trying to give people a legacy. See, Shawnee Brooks there, he can will that off to his family members. You see, there's the fly lawyer, Jackie Patterson right there. See, our covers, we changed the paradigm in marketing. I'm trying to hit this again. Okay. We changed the paradigm in marketing. You can advertise anywhere. But what we do is anybody who advertises with us, they get a certain number of our publications with their pictures on the cover. Isn't that great? And I was talking to a young lady, just had a cleaning with her the other day, okay? I was talking to, what's her name, attorney Louise Hornsby. Some of y'all might know her. She's a legendary attorney in Atlanta. She's retired now, born in 1937. And she was on my radio show a few months ago. And we were talking about, her life and everything. And I asked her, I said, Attorney Hornsby, what do you remember about advertising in Atlanta's People You Need to Know business guide? She said, Sparkplug, I remember you treated all of us ladies like we were royalty. See Renee shaking her head? See, legacy is all about the memories, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about your memories. And so we can go through this here. Oh, look who's here. Hold on a second. Look who's here. Give her a round of applause. Doesn't she look great? And Renee, you remember where that photo shoot was? Where was it? Downtown. At the George and Terrace Hotel. Well, you know something, when I think about legacy, hold on a second. I'm going to get to this right here. Well, I've already shared that part with you. Let me move on. So I got 11 minutes that I've been up here speaking. Okay, good. Just want to make sure, because I want to get some questions in here for a minute. Now, speaking of legacy again, I remember right here in Atlanta, when I was working at Perimeter Mall, I was trying to get to the mall at 10 o'clock. And I needed to get some gas, Renee. And I said, well, if I stop to get some gas, I'm not going to make it there on time. Well, I tried to make it. And 2 miles away from Perimeter Mall, right there in Dunwoody, my car puddled out. It just, and just stopped. And so after I got out the car, I saw a little old man at the top of a hill saying, hey, come here, come here. So I went up there, I was just like, yes, sir. He said, I heard you puddle out down there, and I think I got some gas in the shed. Come on. So we went to see if he had the gas. He had the gas. He put the gas in my carburetor, and he put some in the gas tank. And he said, try it now. I tried it, and it cranked up. And I said, sir, can I give you anything? Do I owe you anything? He looked at me and said, the words I'll never forget. He said, just your friendship. And I was like, wow. Wow. That touched my 20-year-old heart. And I had never bought a thank you card for anybody in my life at that point. You know, now I've sent out over 10,000 of them. But at that point, I had never bought one. But I knew I had to do something for that guy besides shake his hand. So I went to the Hallmark store in Perimeter Mall, and I bought him a thank you card, and I dropped it off at his house the next day. That's legacy, ladies and gentlemen. This was like in 1985, and I'm still thinking about that today. Now, speaking of Perimeter Mall, I used to manage the store there, and I used to work with a guy who used to work for us part-time. Now, you know how some part-time people act, right? Not all part-time people, but some of them. Don't ask me, I'm just part-time. Don't even ask me. All right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Well, this guy was different. This guy was different. He would come into work. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, good to see you today. Oh, hey, great. How's school going for you? Great. How's your mother doing? Oh, good. Good to work with you again. We would all look at this guy like, who is this guy? And when he didn't come into work, which was half the time because he was part-time, right? It wasn't the same. We would say, where is he? They say, Sparkplug, he's off today. They say, call him up. Ask him if he could just come in and shake hands with one person. Because he had a way of shaking your hand that made you feel like you were somebody. Had a way of shaking your hands that made you feel like you can do more. Had a way of shaking your hand that made you feel like you can be more. When he shook your hand, you just knew it was something great within him. And it was a beautiful thing. Now think about this for a second. Let me contrast it. What do people say about you when you don't show up for work? Do they say, Johnny's not here? Oh, Johnny's not here. Or do they say, Johnny's not here? Let the good times roll. There are donuts in the break room. Okay, all right. Now, let me take you to South Carolina when I was a little kid. I'm 6 years old, getting beat up by a big boy outside of our apartment. Big boy just beat me up, right? I'm 6 years old. What can I do? My brother heard the commotion, who was 2 years older than me. He heard the commotion outside the window. He ran out, jumped off the little porch, jumped on the big boy. The big boy turned his rage from me to my brother and beat the crap out of my brother. And as a 6-year-old, I just laughed because I couldn't believe my big brother was getting beat up. But when I told this story at his funeral in 2008, I said as a 6-year-old, I didn't understand the love my brother had for me. To get his tail whipped like that by that big boy on my behalf. Who would you get your tail whipped for? Okay. You know, he could have said, hey, man, you're on your own. Okay. But he helped me out, and that's the legacy. That's why I miss my brother every day. He's the one that gave me the money to start my business way back in '93. Give my brother a round of applause. I've been married 28 years. I know it's all about family. Right, Renee? It's all about family. Now, my sister, she was that wayward child. Raise your hand if you got one. My sister, she had a little bit of my father in it, you know, but we love her. We love her. We got to love her. It's family. Family first. But I know where she's coming from, okay? But she did look out for me in certain ways. And I remember when I wanted to get my first job as a dishwasher at this place called Le Chateau Great Steaks. My sister used to be a waitress there. And she ended up moving out of state at 18. She went up to Pennsylvania. And she told me, she said, hey, when you go to Le Chateau, Le Great Steaks to fill out your application, ask for George. He's the manager. I said, okay. So I went in, you know, I ain't know anything. I'm like 15, you know. I go in and say, hey, I want to fill out an application, you know, for a dishwasher job. They said, okay. So I filled out the application, and I gave it to Mr. George. And he said, hey, you know, didn't listen to my sister at that time. He said, hey, we're going to be taking applications for another week or two. We may give you a call back. So as I was about to turn around and head out the door, I said, oh, Mr. George, Bridget is my sister. I'm her little brother. She used to work here. He's like, what? Bridget's your sister? Hey, come on in. When can you start? My sister had left a legacy of a hard worker, and it got me my first little job. And that was one of the best jobs I ever had in my life because everybody loved my sister, and they all treated me like I was their little brother. And I'm still talking about it. This is like in 1980, 79, something like that. I'm still talking about it today. That's legacy, some good memories to remember. But legacy, ladies and gentlemen, is not always positive. I can tell you that much right now. I remember when I was 15 years old, I was playing on a tennis team at Columbia High School in Columbia, South Carolina. And on Thursdays, I didn't have a ride home. I had to walk home. And it was only one way in and one way out, unless you wanted to go like 5 or 10 miles in another direction. And I always hated it. My stomach used to just get knots when I would go past this one house. And there was some good old boys on the front porch. Had the rebel flags and everything. They kind of looked like ZZ Top. Just tell you the truth. And when I went by that house, those guys used to run after me, threatening to kill me, call me every racial slur known to man. And I'm just running for my life every Thursday. Now, back then, growing up in a single-parent household, I didn't know I could tell my mom about something like this. I kept it to myself. I was running so fast, I had to keep up with my heart. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. That's a legacy, too, because that's a memory, and that's etched in my mind. But people say, Sparkplug, what'd you learn from that experience? I learned that I could run fast, ladies and gentlemen. I could run fast. Now let's get to the Navy. I joined the Navy right here in Atlanta, in Sandy Springs on Hammond Drive, right there close across the street from the Whole Foods. And I never will forget, we got on that plane from Atlanta, flew to Orlando, we got on this school bus, and I never will forget, we got on the bus, and before we got through to NAS Orlando, the bus driver stopped right at the gate. And he made an announcement that I'll always remember. He said, ladies and gentlemen, once we pass through these gates, your life will never be the same again. We were all looking at each other like, what in the world's going to happen? Right? Years later, after I looked back on my life, I spent 5 years in the Navy. After that 5 years, I'm looking back. And I said, you know something? After going through those gates, had a chance to visit Cuba, Egypt, England, Italy, Spain, Israel, Turkey, and so many other places. And the Navy taught me that everything could be appreciated if you just look a little closer. See, we look at one culture, you don't understand. You go to Italy, if you go on a date with a lovely lady, you bring flowers to her mother. You see? You can learn something from every culture. And so that was a beautiful thing about the Navy. And I remember one time, I was standing in line waiting to receive my Goodyear Conduct Medal after 4 years of not getting in trouble in the Navy. So I'm standing at attention in line. And a lieutenant commander came up to me. He said, Petty Officer Thomas, you know what this award is for? Now, this is before the presentation. Right? I'm like, yes, sir. It means I didn't get in any trouble. He said, no. It means you just didn't get caught. So the legacy lesson is don't get too proud because you know the truth, okay? And I knew he was right. I didn't get caught. I remember when we pulled in to Marseille, France. I was on the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. And I always used to like it when we pulled into different ports, the captain would come on the 1MC. Now, that's the speaker system for you civilian types, right? He would come on the 1MC and say, gents, this is the captain speaking. I just want to remind you before we pull in to Marseille, France tomorrow, that you are ambassadors of the United States of America. Well, I'm walking around the ship. I'm like, hey, I'm an ambassador. Wow, this is great. Well, while I was over in Marseille, we took the trip, some of us, we took a trip to a place called Isola 2000. Got a chance to ski in the French Alps. So I'm skiing in the French Alps. Now, I would love to say the hair was blowing through my wind. Oh, I'm sorry, the wind was blowing through my hair, but it's not that kind of story, okay? So I'm skiing in the French Alps, having a great time. And I remember a bunch of us, were eating lunch, looking over the slopes, folks from all over the world. And one lady said, Sparkplug, so what do you do? I thought about it for a minute, thought about my captain, and I said, I'm an ambassador. He was like, wow, a real life ambassador, wow. And it's always that one little knucklehead that wants to ask the follow-up question, right? He said, what kind of ambassador? Like a brother can't be an ambassador, right? I said, a goodwill ambassador from the United States Navy. It's a pleasure to meet you. Right? He was like, oh, okay. Thought he had me, okay? But remember, ladies and gentlemen, everybody has a legacy to leave. Right? And as leaders, it's going to be up to you to try to help them find it. And sometimes it's going to be difficult. I used to work in the waiting parts unit when I was on the Dwight D. Eisenhower, USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. And this one guy that worked with us, he messed up everything. If he put up a part, he put it in the wrong place. He messed up everything, couldn't do anything right. And the chief told us, hey, guys, we got to find out something this guy could do right. We got to work with him for 6 months. We were like, man, chief, we don't know what we can do. Well, we saw this one part that he put away in the wrong place. And I saw his penmanship, ladies and gentlemen. And he had some of the most beautiful penmanship I had ever seen. It was like calligraphy on steroids. It was so beautiful. And I showed the chief, and we had a meeting about it. We're all looking around like, look at this penmanship. It is so beautiful. So we decided to make this guy who was messing up everything, we decided to make him the official writer of the waiting parts unit. Well, this guy started walking like he had some place to go when he was coming into work. He's like, I'm the official writer up in this mug, okay? So he felt good. And we felt good about it because we were hating that guy. But everybody has a legacy to leave. How much time do I have, Renee? I should, because this kind of stopped right here. Hold on. How much time do I have? Because I promised him I would take a few questions. I'm at the end? Huh? Oh, 15? Okay. All right. Well, okay. I tell you what, because I want to take some questions here. But let me close with this poem before I take some questions from you. And we can send this poem to Renee if anybody wants it, and she can send it out to y'all. I love this poem, and I love to close all my presentations with this. Okay? Now, see, I wanted to do the questions. I thought the questions were going to be after my time, but they say, no, Sparkplug, it needs to be within your time. I said, okay, all right. You can just back off me a little bit. No, okay, all right. No, I'm just kidding. Where's Grace? Grace, I'm just kidding, wherever you are. Oh, there she is. I'm just kidding. Let me close with this poem before I take some questions. It's called You. Are you ready? All right. You are the person who has to decide whether you'll do it or toss it aside. You are the person who makes up your mind whether you'll leave or linger behind, whether you'll try for a goal that is far or be content to stay where you are. Take it or leave it. There's something to do. Just think it over. It's all up to you. How'd you like that? All right. Now, somebody needs to tell me how this thing works. Do I have 11 minutes and 24 seconds? Oh, 2 minutes. Okay. Let me take a few questions. He went from 15 minutes to 2 minutes. Okay, but it's all right. Hey, Grace.
Yes?
Where are you? Where's the first question coming from?
Okay, here's the mic. So if you have a question, please
Okay.
let us bring you the mic.
All right. I think we got one right there.
Where? Question? No.
Any
Okay.
questions from
Any
the
questions
audience?
at all? One?
Where? No.
I have a question.
Where's
Mr.
the question?
Spark Plug, sir.
Okay, where's that coming from?
Over here.
Okay, all right.
No, I was just gonna ask, like, does a spark plug ever need to spark? And where do you get your spark on those days where you just don't feel like you have it?
Yeah, that's a great question. What's your name?
My name is Ralph Jean-Paul.
All right, you got a great voice.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Say
Probably-
my name, though. Say my name, Ralph Jean-Paul.
Jean-Paul?
Jean-Paul.
All right, we're probably
All right.
français.
Oui, je parle français.
All right, all right.
I'm an ambassador, too.
All right. You know, I've traveled all over France, and I would just love to go into the stores and say, bonjour, mademoiselle, bonjour, monsieur. But you know something? My wife is around here somewhere. Now, she's real shy, but is Jackie around here somewhere? She's over here in the back. That's the lady who puts the spark in the spark plug right there. That's it. Y'all can do better than that. Come on, come on. Now, and to answer your question a little bit more, I don't have a bad day. I might have a few bad moments, but I'm not going to waste a whole day. Right? Oh, no. I don't think I've ever had a bad day. I might have one bad moment, but no. I'm not going to give anybody a whole day. Oh, no, I can't do it. Is that the only question we have? Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you.